Can do this. I'm curious if this will work. Let me see if it's working. And we're live! Hi!
Hi.
What are we here for?
We're here for Reading Books with Friends, the podcast.
I could have done that better. Yeah, Reading Books with Friends, the podcast. I'm Butter.
Hi, I'm Red, or Lindsay, because that's what it says on the screen. It's fine.
Oh, does it say my name?
No.
You know what's funny? You just doxed yourself because technically I have that cut off. Not on purpose, It just worked that way. But I'm almost at the point where I'm just going to say my real name on these things too. But Keeks, my fiance's like, no, don't do that. But now that I don't work for a, evil medical corporation, I think it's okay. Sazage is on his way, allegedly.
Allegedly.
We were supposed to start. Okay, so right now it's 4:52 p.m. We were supposed to start at 4. So then he's like, "Can you push to 4:30?" So we're like, "Sure." Now it's 4:52. Texted him. He's like, "Start without me." Blah blah blah. So Red and I just decided we're just gonna do it.
Yep.
What book are we talking about today, Red?
We're talking about The Will of the Many by James Islington. I'm guessing is how you say it.
Islington. I'm not sure.
Islington?
He's Australian, apparently.
Oh.
When I googled his name, it said Australian book writer.
Yeah, and was it you that found that the two inspirations for this book were The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss and Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson?
Oh, it was not me because I didn't know that. It must have been Sage. Those are both books I really, really like.
Right. And it makes sense why we really, really like this book. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. This is another one that's like obvious. This is like before we even get into it, we really, 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 really like this movie or this book. So yeah. He have you read anything else by this guy?
I have not.
Yeah, apparently he's written some other stuff. I'm not sure what exactly. But I think Sage said he read it. But this is the first book that we've read from him. And we're also really excited because part of the reason we're doing this is because the sequel book, the second book, came out 2 days ago.
Yes.
Yeah. So you haven't started it yet, right?
Nope.
Okay. And Sage says he hasn't started it yet. We'll see. We'll see. He says he hasn't started it. So we'll take his word for now, I guess. But I'm really, 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 really excited for the second book. And it's been a little tough because we've had a lot of books come out at the same time. Lost Cube, which is the fourth book in the what is the series actually called?
Immortal Great Souls.
Yeah, Immortal Great Souls series. So that book just came out, and you and Sage already read it because you paid for the Patreon. Yes. But I started it, but then I can't remember if I got distracted or when I finished it, but Will of the Many, which is crazy because I really, really, really like those books. Will of the Many took priority. I was like, I need to know how this book ends before the fourth book in the Immortal Great Soul series, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So that came out, and then now the second book came out, and so, I mean, I guess we'll figure this out afterwards, but we probably want to do the second book next.
Probably.
Right? Because you guys have already read Lost Cube, and I haven't, and this book just came out, and we all want to read it, and this will be one of the few times where we can freaking read a book before Sage. Because he always reads them the day. Like I thought for sure he was going to read it the day it came out, and it was done.
Yeah, too.
But anyways,
the audiobook is available.
It is.
Before, I believe.
Oh, that's awesome! Because I looked up for Lost Cube, and for Lost Cube, it's not available until. Let me just, I'm popping out this chat. Lost Cube is not available until like April. So I was like, oh, I got to read this book for real. Actually, I can't just listen to
It's
it.
interesting. Basically, it's on the author, and there's two different ways to publish, right? Because in theory, to have an audiobook, you have to have finished your book and given enough time for someone to then narrate it before you release it if you want to release them at the same time. So most big books do that to like maximize the impact of a release. You've got people who are audiobook listeners and you've got people who are readers. Phil Tucker, who's the author of The Immortal Great Souls, and I'm guessing probably in part because he also has the Patreon where people are reading it live and have access to it, basically releases the book as soon as it's written. And then he has someone narrate it and releases that at a later date.
Oh, I see. So it probably okay. So let's say the book came out in October, right? And the audiobook comes out in April. It sounds like what you're telling me is like the turnover is usually several months, and it's because he released the book instantly, whereas most people they coordinate it so that they're both out at the same time.
Yep.
Which is what James Islington obviously did for the second book.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Well, that makes it easier for me too, because I'm definitely gonna listen. I prefer listening now. I get through books so much faster, and I'm so grateful for you telling me that, because my speed. This is funny because you know how slow I was at reading books before. Let me think about this. So the last meeting we had was for the third Immortal Souls book. And since then, I read Will of the Many. And then in the meantime, before this meeting, I finished House of Blades.
Oh,
yeah? Yeah, which we can talk about a different time. Have you read that whole series?
Yes.
How many books is it?
3? I think it's 3, maybe
3 books?
4.
Okay. I want to read that series now. House of Blades is Will White, and Will White is our guy who also Red and I have some news that I don't know when the animatic's coming out, but we actually saw each other in LA recently because we were at Will White's release of his animatic for the Cradle series, which covered the first 2 books. So, man, we have a lot to talk about before even the book.
Yeah.
Who knows? Sage might get here before we even start talking about the book. Do you want to talk about kind of so Red? I am a fan of Will White, the author, and I was happy to attend. But Red is basically part of the family, is what my understanding was while we were there. Why don't you tell us about how the experience was there, and I don't know, maybe your favorite parts, what we did.
The mortifying story of the family photo.
Yes, please, if you're comfortable telling that.
Absolutely. So my other friend, whose stage name is Lonnie, and I are huge fans of Will White, and we have met Will and his family multiple times at various events, book signings, conventions. He hosts his own like little author Q&A events outside of conventions. And we have sort of basically bonded with the family in our appreciation of Cradle, and we've done cosplay that they've appreciated, and they are the loveliest people on planet Earth. They are so nice and so excited to see us every time.
They are very lovely. And I'm interrupting to say, just because this is the first time I met them, and they were very polite. And you know, I met Will White for 3 seconds, and later, several hours later, he like remembered my name, and it's like, dude, I'm just some guy. So he's I mean, just that is like pretty cool, and they seem exceptionally kind.
Yes. And Lonnie and I have become genuine friends with Will's brother, Sam. Sam is great. Sam runs all of his social media. So that's kind of how initially we connected, is in talking to Will's social media accounts. We were actually talking to Sam. And so now whenever we are at events at the same time, we try to spend time with at least Sam and Rebecca, his sister, if we can. Will, obviously, if we can, but he's in pretty high demand. So it was lovely to see them, and getting to see all of the amazing outcomes of the work that they've been putting in for a year and a half of this basically like Kickstarter funded animated movie. Not a full animation, but an animatic, which was new to me. It's basically all of the sound and comic book visuals instead of full-on animation for a movie. So like you have a non-moving image that accompanies some amount of audio, and then it shows another non-moving image on repeat. I mean, some of the images had movement, like a hand that would move across the screen, but it was not like fully animated. It was so fun.
It was super fun. And I had never seen an animatic before either. I didn't really know what it was. And Keeks was there too. And she has not read the books. And two things I'll say is that so I don't know if you noticed, but I didn't want to ask her what she thought about it when we were there, because I would hate for her to be like, oh, I hated it while we're at this event. But I asked her later, and she was like, oh, I really, really, really liked it. And she said she's going to read the books. So that's pretty cool, because beforehand, she was like, I don't know. I mean, like, I've heard you describe the books. They don't really sound like a thing I'd be into, but like, I'm here to support you, and like, this is the thing you care about. And then afterwards from watching it, she was like, oh yeah, I'll definitely read these books. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that, to be honest.
I wasn't either. That's huge for them to like gain a new audience.
Right. So hopefully at some point, I think they said we will get the animatic, whether it's something we can stream or download, but I'm planning to stream it on Discord or something like that. Not like on a streaming thing, but on like in the private channel or something. And then Sage, since he missed out, he can actually see it. It was really good. Like, I think one of the things I was most impressed with is how well the humor hit.
Yes, I would agree.
Because there's a lot of things that could come off as like cheesy or silly or just like cringe. Yep. And I didn't feel that way at all.
Nope.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was funnier than I expected it to be. I mean, Will is a funny author, but a lot of the humor doesn't come until Dross, I think. I mean, Ethan is also a funny character, but the first book doesn't have a lot of humor in it, but they still were able to make funny moments in that half, right? Because the animatic was based off the first 2 books out of a 12-book series. And it was a joy to watch the whole thing. It took maybe like 5 minutes to get used to that type of a movie where the image is not fully animated, but once you were in it, it didn't feel weird at all.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think like the humor was great, the voice acting was great. I think that it managed to be appropriately dark, but also like light and funny. And I think it made his character shine like the way they do in the books. So hopefully, fingers crossed. Like, they were talking about how they're, trying to get funding for, well, it's interesting. They did a Q&A too. And so part of what they said that I didn't really think about is, do you want it to be a movie? Do you want it to be a show? Like, what do you want it to be? And they kind of said, it kind of depends on the funding.
Yeah.
And so, I think I think best case scenario, it'd be really cool to be a show. I don't know what you think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would get more traction. I think as like a series of movies, it's just harder to get someone into that because people are like, what the hell is this? Whereas if you start with a 30-minute episode of something, I can get a lot of people to try something out if it's a 30-minute episode.
Yep. I agree.
But yeah, all in all, it was really awesome, and hopefully we'll be able to share the animatronic. And for all of you out there who haven't read Will White's work yet, it's probably the thing we praise the most on here, right? The Cradle series. Yeah. And I remember what I was going to say. I just read House of Blades, and I thought in that in particular, it's pretty funny.
It is.
Like that the first book is very funny.
The dolls.
Yeah, the dolls are so funny. Yeah, hopefully if you guys are down, if we can review those books at some point too. Because I was surprised. I kind of listened to it because I'm trying to remember. Oh, because I guess I finished Will of the Many, and then I didn't have the new Lost Cube book on audiobook, and I just texted you guys and I was like, I need an audiobook. And I forgot what you both recommended, but I had House of Blades on there, and I was like, easy choice, this is free.
I am going to keep pushing you. You have to listen to Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Oh yeah, that's what you said. Yeah, I will. And I want to, and I'm excited to. The problem is I don't remember exactly where I left off.
Right. I'm telling you to start back at the beginning.
Oh, really?
Because I almost exclusively listen to books, and I love Will White as an author, probably favorite author, but the Dungeon Crawler Carl audiobooks are the best audiobooks I've ever listened to.
Okay, that's a pretty big sell.
The narrator, Jeff Hayes, right? I Googled it before I knew any of them. I Googled, like, who are the multiple people doing these voices? There's not. It's one guy.
It's all one guy. Oh, wow.
It's one guy. And, like, the inspiration for his narrator and main character voice was, the guy from American Dad. Who is that actor?
Seth MacFarlane?
No.
Seth Green?
No, it's not a Seth. It's like Patrick Warburton.
Oh, yeah. Wait. Patrick Warburton or Patrick Stewart?
Warburton.
Okay, Warburton is the guy. You never watched Seinfeld, did you?
No.
Patrick Warburton is the voice of Joe in Family Guy.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yes, and he did Kronk in Emperor's New Groove.
Yes.
So that, you look at the guy who did the audiobooks, and he's this, like, short, kind of almost Hispanic looking guy, and it sounds like fucking, to me, Kronk from Emperor's New Groove.
That's crazy.
That voice coming out of that man.
Yeah.
And oh my god, it's so good. I love them so much. They're the best. I
have to at some point I have to introduce you to a friend of mine who a streamer friend who her name's Lovastasia. I forget how. It might have been just from originally going to different cons and stuff, different conventions, but she, like, knows the ins and outs of, like, the voice acting kind of business. Like she knows, like, oh, this person. She's, like, met a lot of them. She knows them. And so this is more so in video games, but also, like, animations and things like that. She'll, like, know these people by name and by voice by hearing it. And so I'd be very curious to talk to her. I haven't talked to her about audiobooks, but I bet she has the same knowledge about that. And I'm curious if she would know about this guy from this series. What's the author's name for Dungeon Crawler, Carl?
Matt Dinniman.
Matt Dinniman, who also was potentially going to be at the Will White thing, right?
Yes, he was a big donor of the animatic for Will White, but he has his own book tour happening right now, so he couldn't make it.
Yeah, it's funny how, and you probably know this more than I do from, like, knowing the Whites longer, how, like, kind of small world the fantasy book community is, where these guys kind of, like, know each other a little bit and are, like, cheering each other on. It's very cute.
It is really cute. It's really sweet. And Matt Dinniman is another, like, couldn't meet a nicer guy.
You met him?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. Where'd you meet him?
Dragon Con in 2024. Do you remember that video that I sent?
Yes.
Con this year? That was Matt Dinniman. And
Jeff. Okay. I'm just pulling up a picture of the book, so we have it here. All right. Is there any other business? We did a lot. It's been a fun month.
Because I mentioned it, I will very quickly, the family photo story. So anytime we're at an event with the Whites and they're all there. We try to get a picture with them. Myself, my friend Lonnie, and mom, dad, Will, brother, sister, White. And there was this like cradle backdrop at the animatic. And so herding cats were getting everybody in the family over to this thing. And someone, I think mom White, yells out family photo. And so we like go and join the Whites to take this photo. Only it's not just you, Butter, taking our photo. A bunch of people who attended this event, we have no idea who they are,
it was like photos. 20 people. It was a lot of people. It was, you're not exaggerating, it was a lot of people.
We're like, oh my God, they think we're part of the White family? They think this is an actual family photo? Like, what is, oh no, we've inserted ourselves into a photo of the White family, and we are not trying to actually pretend that we are part of the White family. And so, that was very awkward. We smiled. We quickly skedaddled out of there, just Lonnie and I, so that people could take photos of the actual Whites.
They're so nice, though, that they didn't even...
No.
Yeah, they didn't say anything, or, you know.
Of course not. Yeah. They're lovely.
And they're super nice. And I am very uncomfortable with, like, meeting people. I'm like a kind of like a, hello, I like what you do, and then, okay, I'll leave you alone. But Sam is like super like gregarious and outgoing and like friendly. Like I feel like I've met him once for a very short period of time, but he seems like the type that could be friends with anyone. Oh, look who showed up finally.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Oh, hi. Hold on, I gotta move this Will of the Many book because it's in front of your face right now. How you doing, Sage? We are recording.
Nice. I'm doing okay.
We filibustered a lot. We somehow have not started talking about the book.
Yeah.
Okay,
because we waited till like 5-ish, 4:50, and we're like, well, I guess we should start. And then we've done so many fun things without you this past month that we had plenty to talk about.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you guys were in LA together. That's awesome. Oh my God.
Wow, you sound so enthused.
I'm so sad that I missed it. I'm sorry. I'm still embroiled in the situation that delayed me. And so I do apologize. I'm going to be up on my phone a little bit more than I would normally be.
What's happening?
Huh?
I said, are you going to give us the tea of what's happening?
Oh, no. It's work stuff. That's all. Yeah.
Is it, what kind of work tea?
No, just
just numbers.
Stuff, moving parts, numbers, all that good stuff.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's fine. So, do you wanna continue this call without Sage since he's so busy, or should we reschedule for a different day? Or
no, I say let's move forward because I don't want to delay you guys with reading the next one.
You don't want to delay. You don't want to delay us with reading the next one.
I'm not going to be in a position to read it for right now anyway. So
really.
Yeah,
wait a minute.
It's busy.
I'm sorry it's busy, and I wish you the best. But also, this might be the first time in the history of existence where I can finish a book before Sage. Ever.
I haven't even bought it. Like, I haven't bought the next book or anything.
Oh, I'm going to read this book so fast, and then I'm going to call you and ruin it.
Nice. Nice. I love that.
Well, thank you for gracing us with your presence. Sorry, work has been busy, but we can start talking about the book. And I know you're busy, so you can jump in whenever you want. Also,
I'm just cleaning up some stuff. That's all. I apologize, but I'll be very focused in like 15 minutes. Sorry.
Great. The other thing is, what I'd like you to do is go on YouTube, youtube.com/@DrButtercar, and put the stream up and watch the stream. We're going to watch ourselves stream. I was telling Red earlier that I'm figuring out the YouTube algorithm, and there's a lot of silly things you have to do.
Oh, okay.
Which is mostly asking your mom, your brother, your dad, your sister, your cousin to just put on streams.
Okay.
And then, so YouTube does this thing where if it has 0 viewers, it's like, you suck. We're not going to watch you ever. If you have 1 viewer, then it is like, okay. And it'll pick it up and pump it up.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So that's why it's like, if you have a couple people do it.
Now there's 3 of us.
I know. And not to not to toot my own horn, but I'll show you guys some analytics on YouTube. Just you wait. The podcast, once we so whatever, we'll get to the book in a second. One big thing that I've learned, if anyone wants to or has any desire to do this, fucking on the YouTube page, I'm trying to think what it's called. The photo that displays before you click a video, what is that called? The thumbprint, I guess?
Yeah.
That is like a huge part of YouTube videos working. If you don't have a thumbprint, it's like, boo, your videos suck, fuck you. But
is
if
it
you have the
something that you have to
thumbprint,
manually do, or is it something that it'll pull from the video?
the AI might do it, but that would probably be an example of a shittier thumbprint.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like the good thumbprints are like artistic designs and they look really like example would be someone draws a picture of the Will of the Many scene and we put the Will of the Many and book club and all these bells and whistles.
Sounds like a job for ChatGPT.
Yeah. Well, you got to be careful, buddy. In the art, in the art world, in the art space. Actually, you know what? Everyone, YouTube comments, feel free to tell Sage he sucks and we hate him and he's a boomer.
Nice.
What are you eating?
But
Freak salad.
wait, you were gonna say something about analytics, YouTube analytics?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'll show you. I got so far over 7,000 subscribers, and what's the other thing?
Wow.
I have 2 videos. I'm starting to actually learn. So it's really funny. Sorry, this is very separate from book club. This is streaming stuff. Dr. Buttercar on Twitch and all the other things. I was making a lot of clips that are like me playing a game, haha, and like whatever. What I realized is everyone is making those clips, and there's only so many clips of funny person does funny thing in video, gets scared, whatever, before people are like, dude, I've seen 700 million of these things. So what I'm trying to do that is actually like more entertaining that I enjoy is making like standalone videos that are, short form, long form videos about like whatever. I made one about Dragon Ball Z the other day. Remember when we were talking about, I think it was last episode, where there's an episode of Dragon Ball Z where the Z fighters are training on the planet and there's a pendulum and they stop time, and Red was like, I don't know what you're talking about, and Sage was like, that's not that important. I made a video about that, and boy oh boy, you want to get people to leave nasty comments on the internet, make fun of Dragon Ball Z.
Really?
Nice.
Oh yeah, I had one. I'll try and find it real quick, but if you guys want to start talking about the book while I do this, because this is the last thing, and then
That's like what I don't know if you remember, like in a certain friend of ours, he would always talk shit in video games.
yes,
And he would say all kinds of terrible things about someone's family, their
Yes.
parents, all these other things. But the second he called them a bad gamer, instantly they would just go insane.
oh yeah,
The instant that he said that they were a noob or called them a noob lord, and this was, mind you, 10 years ago, it would just cause like this wave of irrational anger from whoever that person was. And and at this point, by this point, he probably commented on their genealogy, the status of their parents, a little bit about physical appearance and general habits of eating and otherwise.
that was a really good way to say that, buddy.
Nothing would phase whoever it is that he's talking about. But the second he says noob lord,
People go nuts.
instantly, people would go insane, right? And he would instantly get reported. I mean, there's a million things that would happen.
Yep.
So yeah.
So here's the comment that someone put. So my Dragon Ball Z video is titled, "People have been lying about this episode of Dragon Ball Z all month. Check out the truth here." And then it's just a silly episode where I'm just making jokes about, oh, this is the greatest episode ever, and how can you not remember this, and yada yada. So someone replied, quote, "You're a liar," because he's quoting things I said in the video. Quote, "You're a liar." Quote, "Greatest episode of all time." Quote, "I hate Yamcha." Bro doesn't even know what the spirit ball is, and he wants to talk about DBZ like he's an expert. You need to get laid, kid. And there were like a lot of comments like that. And so I texted Keeks and I was like, baby, I made it. That's how you know. That's how you know you made it. When people on the internet are telling you to, stop making content and you're the worst and everyone hates you and this and that about your mother. That's how you know you made it.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey guys, it's Reading Books with Friends, the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm Butter.
I'm Sage.
I'm Red.
What book are we talking about today, guys?
Will of the Many.
Will of the Many by James Islington.
Yes, by James.
I thought it was Islington.
Spelled like that. We now have our full party here. So Red, that was fun though. Just talking with Red. I like it better without Sage.
Same.
Yeah.
Me too.
So we all love this book. Okay, we all love this book. We're excited to talk about this book. It's already 10 thumbs up, et cetera, et cetera. Part of the reason we're talking about this book is because the new book,
Strength of the Few.
Strength of the Few, book 2 of the series is called the Hierarchy series. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Do we know how many books are planned?
No.
We don't, but he usually writes trilogies, or his other series is a trilogy, and I think this one's going to be as well.
That's what I was going to ask because Red and I have not read. Have you read his other books, Sage?
I have. Yeah.
Good?
Fantastic.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So
I don't find them as gripping as this book.
Yeah.
Like something about this book really, I was amazing. But I will say that after I read the first book, I actually took a couple starts on his other series. I got halfway through the first book and I was like, it's fine. More traditional fantasy. Then I finally pushed through and I read to the end and I was like, oh shit. And then I read the next 2 that came out and I was like, oh shit.
Cool.
That series. So, I have a feeling he writes about similar themes. I'm guessing because some of the stuff that is in his other series also, the other series deals a lot with, without giving anything away, time and stuff like that, and some sort of metaphysical concepts. I'm guessing that from what I can see closer to the end of this book, this also deals with it. So I think that he likes touching on that. So if anything, if this series is anything like the other one, the other series has these massive twists, absolutely massive twists that you're like, oh shit, that's wild. And it completely changes the trajectory and narrative of the book.
Cool.
And so I'm curious if he's going to do that in this series too.
Is this author? I mean, is he popular? Is he well known or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So this first series, as far as I know, his first series was the first series that he's ever published, and it did really well. It took a little bit to catch on, but it did really well, and it's a great example of a little bit more traditional fantasy where there's big world building and a lot of fantasy elements as opposed to some of the faster progression fantasy that is coming out a lot more. So it was great.
Okay, so we don't know how many books, but previously he's done a trilogy, so maybe this will be a trilogy, we don't know. But the second book came out 2 days ago, I think. And so it is a rare opportunity where Sage hasn't already read the book. And it sounds like this might be the time where it happens. So I'm going to buy this book as soon as I get off this and start it. Nice. I remember what I was going to tell you. I finished House of Blades, which we can talk about a different time. But I will be definitely listening to that whole series. Isn't
it fun?
Yeah, it's very fun.
It's a fun series, right? Yeah.
Enjoyed it a lot. But anyways, after that, or not after that, I'll download the second book today and I'm going to start it because I was telling Red, Lost Cube came out, right? And it was a competition between reading Lost Cube and listening/reading this book. I chose Will of the Many, which I think is pretty crazy, but that's how wrapped in this book I was.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the book. I didn't write an outline. Did anyone write an outline?
No, but I have a proposal. I'm going to do like a 2-minute summary, and you guys are going to get really mad.
You can't do a 2-minute summary.
Yes. No.
No.
I'm because I want to talk about the book and I want to talk about the series and stuff like that.
Okay.
I don't want to get
Okay. Where is it coming from?
I'm just gonna make it up.
Boom. Red.
Why don't we just read the Wikipedia plot?
No, I want Red to do it.
They're also really long. No.
Yeah, but that'll take 5 minutes instead of 2. No. Fine. All right. Ready, go.
Then, okay, fine. So we start in a magical realm where there is a government known as the Hierarchy that is basically a multi-level marketing scheme of a government where your average citizen is called an octavie, an 8th level person, and they have to give away half of their willpower to their immediate superior. Next level is the septimi, the 7s. They get willpower from 8s below them, but they also have to give willpower to the 6th on up. There's not one pyramid for the whole thing. There's multiple different pyramids doing different things. Concept. This hierarchy has conquered and or made treaties with all other governments in the world that they live in. Our main character is the orphaned prince of an indigenous island, Zeus, that was conquered by the hierarchy. He fucking hates them. They killed his family. He is trying to avoid becoming part of a pyramid and ever having to cede his willpower. He's adopted by a senator, lies about his history. The senator wants to use him to investigate a school for gifted hierarchy kids where the senator's brother allegedly committed suicide, but the senator doesn't believe that that's what happened. The kid goes to school.
Wait, can I pause you?
Yeah.
Are you doing this like without notes?
Yeah.
This is pretty good. Okay.
Thank you.
Keep going.
The kid goes to school. He starts at the bottom class. Just like government, the school is organized in classes where like the worst kids are in the biggest class and they get the shittiest resources. He starts there. He quickly works his way through the classes because he was a prince and had fucking tutoring up the wazoo. And his goal is to be number 1 in the class valedictorian, because if he does that, he can request whatever position he wants, and he wants to request some ambassadorship where he never has to cede will. But there's like a hangman's noose over his head that the senator's like, you got to fucking find out what happened to my brother or I'm going to kill you. Eventually. And the principal of the school is who the senator thinks killed his brother. So as the main character, is working his way up through the class, he's also exploring the island that the school is on, trying to find out what happens to the guy's brother. Yes, question.
Okay, one thing. I just think it's important to bring up the like when this is going to his new father's place, they get attacked by this like rebel group.
Yes, the Anguis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
you're right.
And so like this is an ongoing thing where the Anguis are rebelling and causing issues, and what happens is basically there's this attack on the train, and this and his father are outside with the Anguis, and the father, he gets like, is it like a sleeping dart or something? He's like unconscious for some reason. And you find out that the Anguis, I'm going to say leader, but I don't remember her name, whatever her name is, knows that this is the frickin' orphan kid, the prince from Zeus.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I'm going to fucking blackmail you unless you do what I fucking say.
Yeah, her name is Reliquia, or at least her Anguis name is Reliquia, but he also eventually finds out she's married to his adopted father, Senator.
Yeah, which is dope.
Her name in that marriage is Sedocia.
Right.
Sedocia. Right.
So that's a cool thing that happens. And then the only other thing is she, as the like leader of the Anguis, what's her name again? Not Sedocia, but the other one? Reliquia. As Reliquia, she's like, you got to meet me at this stupid festival. I don't care. Figure it out. Get there. And so Vis has to figure out this complicated way to like be there, even though it's in the middle of this training before going to school and doesn't make sense. But he figures it out and he goes there, and basically there's a terrorist attack at the festival with all these people. And the true leader of the Anguis guy, I don't remember his name.
Melior?
Yeah. Melior is like using this fucking crazy magic shit that no one knows what they're doing and just fucking kill people. And so this ends up going down there, and Melior was from Zeus. Or yeah, so Vis like knows him, and Vis is like, hey, you know, I know we don't like the hierarchy, but you can't just fucking kill innocent people. And he's like, sometimes you want to make change, you gotta burn some bread. And then he's like, stop, and then Melior kills himself, but kind of like makes it look like Vis does it. I think Vis has his hand to his throat with a knife, but he actually kills himself. So now everyone, I'm part of the reason I'm bringing this up is because I fucking love it. This is like this fucking hero, and they all call him Catenicus, which I love so much, which is like this name of just like, you fucking saved Caten, you're this badass Catenicus, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yep. Then school.
Yeah. So at school, one of the ways that the new principal, he's only been around for 6 years as principal, has instituted to like test the students is this maze thing. So basically they have to run a maze, and it's got stone doors that open and close with the control of a bracer that someone wears on their arm. At the beginning, it's like a partner who's standing over the maze watching you, who controls the bracer as you run. Other people are trying to catch you in the maze before you get to the end, and they also have people spotting and looking. Eventually, as you get better in school and move through the classes, the goal is you wear the bracer yourself, you run through the maze without getting caught as people are chasing you. And no one really knows like where this came from or why. It's this new thing that this new guy implemented, but it's a big deal. And so as Vis is exploring the island, he finds ruins close by that, well, he's not supposed to be there to begin with, but he goes in.
But his dad is like, if you don't do this, I'm going to fucking disown you and kill you. And
yeah. And so he goes in, and there's a bunch of writing that he doesn't understand. He doesn't recognize. He speaks a shit ton of languages, but like, what is in this ruins? At first, he's like, I can't read this shit. But he recognizes diagrams of the maze because it's a standard layout, right? Like the maze doesn't change. It's not like the Harry Potter maze where the hedges grow and change. And he also recognizes diagrams of the bracer. So he's like, interesting. And he keeps exploring this ruin, and then he starts to recognize a different language on the wall. And it's talking about some stuff that is similar to a coded message his adopted father had received from the suicidal brother before he died. But it doesn't make sense to this. It's all about like synchrony, and the gate is broken, and a couple names that he doesn't recognize. And he gets to the end of this ruin, and it's a room full of dead bodies impaled with black weapons. Like, I can't remember if they were onyx, I think.
Or obsidian or onyx, something?
Yeah, maybe obsidian. It was a big deal because it's an expensive material in this world. And there's some sort of like plinth, and he activates it, and a hologram of the island that he's on appears, but there's 3 versions of this hologram. One he recognizes as the hologram as it is today. One is like the island after it had been attacked or bombed by something. There's like craters and things are like busted and shitty. And then there's a third version where it's like a nicer, even more developed version of the island. And then all of a sudden he hears a creepy voice saying the phrase that he had translated from the wall. I'm gonna forget the exact wording, but like, don't attempt synchrony, Obitium is lost, do not go through the gate. And then another voice says it, and then all of a sudden these like dead bodies open their empty eye sockets because they don't have eyeballs, and they're talking to him about what he read on the wall.
And at the time you're like, I don't know what any of this means.
Yeah, right. Oh, okay. Fast summary, and then we can talk about it. Okay. So he gets to the top of his class, and he had discovered another ruin through another trip on the island, and his adopted dad had said, you will run the maze that you found in that second ruin when the final test on the island happens, or I will kill you. You're doing it. So he's like, fuck, I gotta fucking do this. So the final test is basically squads of students. He's the leader of a squad.
It's like Hunger Games.
Yeah, King of the Hill. Not capture the flag. That's what it is. There's a flag. The person who captures the flag and returns to the school with it is the winner. They have a couple days. He also has to find time to get away and go run the maze. So he does. He goes. He runs the maze. The maze has Dementors in it, for lack of a better
basically.
term.
Yeah.
And as he's running, he finds the dead body of another student, but he makes it to the end. He walks to this like ring of swords, is how they described it. There's nothing else afterwards. He gets inside the ring of swords. He goes through this like really painful, horrible experience, and then blacks out and wakes up, and he's still in the same place, right? So he thinks that this was the gate that everyone's been talking about, and he expected to be transported somewhere, and he wasn't. So he's kind of like, what the fuck was this? But there are shadowy figures outside, and they're telling him to come out, but they've got swords, and he's scared. All of a sudden, his arm has the word wait carved into it. Nobody's there. What the fuck? Some magic happens. The dudes outside the swords die. The word run starts to appear in his arm, so he bails. But he has to rerun the maze. He's fine. That's fine. But at the door to get out, there's more of those like dead body eyeless dudes waiting for him. And he has no weapon, like an idiot. So he has to fight his way out. This wolf that he saved earlier helps him. I was very upset when I thought the wolf was going to die.
I know. Same thing. I was like, how dare you? I will put this book down right now.
I know.
But the wolf did not die. They made it seem like it was going to die, but then it didn't die.
And then technically we don't know because it went off screen and it was still injured. But
I think he's fine.
But it didn't die.
Yeah.
But he's bit in the process, and his arm that is bit by the like zombie dudes very quickly starts to blacken and look infected.
Yeah.
He rejoins his team. They figure out that the people who are supposed to be supervising this final test have been murdered and replaced with Anguis fighters, and that all of the students are in danger because the Anguis are here to kill them. And his girlfriend is one of the other team leaders. He's like, fuck, I gotta save her. And he tries to save everybody else. He sends his best friend off to like go wait for him. He goes to
I don't like how the summary didn't include his best friend even by name.
Paladus?
Yeah. I mean, he's the best.
I cried when he died.
Me too.
Okay?
Spoiler alert. Me too.
Well,
I cried. The way it was written made me cry too. Anyways.
So he goes to save his girlfriend. He runs into a guy from the Anguis who can teleport, like physically teleport around. And he makes some weird illusions about how they're like blood brothers now.
Yeah, they're similar now. Yeah.
As the reader, you can figure out it's because they've both gone through this gate trial thing. But Vis has no idea what the fuck's going on. The guy lets him go. He goes to get his girlfriend. He kind of saves her from the Anguis guy that was in that room. She sees his arm. He doesn't know that this is why, or at least allegedly this is why. She's like, you gotta die. And she throws her knife at him, and he falls out a window, and she thinks he's dead. So she goes.
Okay. I missed I knew that happened, but I missed that it was because she saw the arm.
Well, that's what they claim at the end.
Well, no, and it says her demeanor changes.
Yeah.
She's happy to see him, and then her demeanor changes when she sees his arm and the black stuff on his arm.
Okay.
And at the end, when he's healing in the hospital, the principal is like, she only did that because she thought you were dead already and that you were beyond saving.
Yes.
Oh, he did say that. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought he was just like lying to her or lying to him.
He could still be, right? Like they could still be covering up whatever she was doing. But the girlfriend is real shady because she knew things she shouldn't know, and she lied about how she knew them.
Yeah, I thought too that like she really needed to win for some reason that's unclear as well. I didn't know if that was a motivation, but it seemed like part of it was like, whatever. Okay, all right.
So then he's got a gut wound from this knife, and he's like, I got to go find my BFF and get back to school. But he has the flag, the capture the flag thing. He goes to find his BFF, who has also been fucking stabbed and is dying. I really hoped that he was not actually dying like
Me
the
too.
wolf, but no, he sure fucking died.
Yeah.
And that was devastating. I sobbed.
And he like carries his corpse back, to the
So
school.
then this takes his best friend's body and the flag and comes back to the school, and everybody's gathered for some odd reason, and he like plants the flag and then passes out.
They're gathered because they're discussing what happened, I think. Like I think they're telling everyone that the augurs came or whatever.
Yeah, and I think they were about to send out expeditions onto the island, because he had warned other student groups of what was happening.
Yep.
And saved a couple of them and told them you need to go back to the school and
get help.
Tell them what's going on. Yeah.
So the final scene with this is he wakes up in the hospital. He has lost his arm that was bit by the zombie man, and he is valedictorian. Planted the flag, he won. And so they're like, you get whatever post you want. And he's like, I want to work with Calidus's dad in the censor's office, because Calidus had shared with this throughout their school time together that like there was some shady shit happening with the census numbers in the hierarchy. It didn't make sense. There were not enough of the higher ranked people to support the size of the pyramid, basically. So
that was a pretty good summary of that part. I was like, good luck summarizing that quickly, and you did.
Thank you. And we already kind of referenced, but I'll just allude to it. The principal who tried to convince Vis, like, pick the school, I'll explain everything that's happened. Amisa didn't mean to stab you. She thought you were beyond saving. And Vis was like, fuck you guys, I don't trust you, I'm out. We then get a brief glimpse of two other versions of this, presumably in the locations that have been mentioned several times about this gate, which is Obitium and
Lucium.
Lucium, thank you. I think we get Lucium first. So yes, another version of this wakes up inside the blades, leaves, gets to the maze that he has to run through again, but he has to like pay to activate it. It's weird and unclear.
So he sees a writing on the wall that says, sealed against the tools of the enemy after the rending. The passage to Lucium requires a toll to ensure validity. Then touches his hands to these two circles on the wall.
And basically it disintegrates one arm. I think it's the same arm that he loses in the original version of this that we're familiar with. So that's like right. It's symmetry of it takes an arm from him. And so then he gets to this like white columned bliss area. It's got a stump and a bunch of people show up and they try to help him. And then that's the end of that vision. And then we get another one with a third Vis that wakes up in the blades, and there's somebody there to help him.
Can I pause for a second? You know what's crazy? I miss the Lucium part somehow. I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention in the audiobook or I accidentally skipped it. Thank you for explaining that. Did not hear that part. I thought the end was the last part that you're going to tell.
I will say, I was going to say this at the end. I've listened to it twice now because I listened to it a year and a half ago, and then I re-listened to it for the book club. I got so much more out of the second listen, having been exposed to the whole story, because
having the context of what the hell's okay.
Same. I also reread it, and I also got a lot more. It's a very complex book.
Yes,
and so you definitely get more on the second way.
Yeah.
Exposition to explain what's going on.
So finish your summary first, because you've done an excellent job, and it would have taken me 7 hours. So just finish the last part, and then we can review.
I want to fill in some gaps when you world building gaps. No, you covered all the story gaps. I just want to fill in world.
Red, you did
gaps.
Okay. You can never be as great as Sage. Obviously, Sage is the best, and
okay, so the last glimmer that we get is third Vis in Obitium, which is a bad place, presumably, because it's like all dark and stormy and creepy, And a guy shows up to help him, and lo and behold, it's his adopted dad's brother, the one who committed suicide, quote unquote, in normal reality that we're used to.
What's his name? Like Sergio or something?
Ciror.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's pronounced Ciror in the
Ciror.
Ciror. And so he's like, I'm gonna help you, but first you got to help yourself. Here's a knife. Get ready to cut your own arm. And so he doesn't actually do it, but you figure out that those messages in Vis's arms, the wait and then the run, came from himself in this other reality. Kind of like Stranger Things kind of realm vibe. Yeah. And then that's the end of the plot.
Yeah.
Nice.
That
great,
part.
Great summary.
That part at the end, that was my moment where I went, what? Oh, what? Oh, what? Yeah. It was very cool.
I mean, there is so much that I cut out. There are a lot of characters that I cut out that I really like, but I was trying to do a rapid fire so we have time to talk about.
Yeah. That was really good.
So I wanted to say one thing that I think is really important to the story is that everything is framed like closest to real world allegory would be it's a Roman Empire.
Yeah.
It is the Roman Empire. So that gives a little bit of context in terms of like technology, style, architecture, everything, their names in general. When you hear like Calidus is one name or Caror is another, they're all like Roman names, right? And Obitium and Lucium are Latin. So he's borrowing heavily from real world, history and so forth as he's writing this book, which I actually think is great. It's awesome. And the second thing I'll say is that the one thing is that in general the hierarchy is run in three different groups.
Yeah, religion,
government, religion, and military.
Yeah,
and government being the census, religion being religion, and the military being the military. They have a senate. There is no emperor. So this is like
allegedly.
Think yeah, exactly. But think like the republic version of Rome, essentially, right? There's a bunch of senators. They're very powerful people. As a result, in these will pyramids that Red alluded to, and Red, you see your name on your portrait, right?
Yeah, we talked about it happened. Yeah.
All right, so and so these pyramids only get as high as Tertius. They don't go any higher, allegedly. And that's why, for example, in the school that this attended, the highest class level is not Primus, it is the third, right? Because it represents third being the three pyramids, and it starts at 7, sort of kind of representing that they're never going to start at 8, which is the very bottom of the pyramid. So they start at 7,
right? Which is there's a lot of not so subtle symbolism here, right?
Yes, there's a lot of symbolism, things like that, and a lot of mirroring in the book, right? Like everything in the book is a pyramid. The transports that they are in are giant pyramids,
right?
right? The transvex, and will is basically, for lack of a better term, it makes you stronger, better, faster. And I think you can process information faster, but I'm not sure. I could be completely wrong. More charismatic, longer lived, and more durable. And then you also basically have telekinesis, right?
I think you can process imaging, or you can process things faster, right? Because isn't that part of Alastia, who I don't even know if we mentioned, but she's the one who trains Vis when Alkizkor is gone. That's her name, right? Alastia? Lanastia.
Yeah.
Lanastia is blind. And I think part of what she explains is that like the way that she sees by using will requires her to process things at like an insanely a fast rate. So I think you're right, is what I'm saying, is that that is one of the things.
Yeah, she basically she explains that she uses will to do split-second sonar.
Yeah.
Constantly around her at all times and process that information. So yeah, I guess will does make you able to process information a lot faster.
Yeah, because Vis is like, holy shit, how do you do that? Like that must require so much mental acuity. And she's like, yeah.
Okay, that was it. I just wanted to provide, I think that context matters because obviously the will magic system matters, the way that the government is set up. Oh, and then there's a larger conflict in the background of just the hierarchy, let alone all the
so that's what
stuff.
I was going to bring. I think it's really important to bring up what's going on with military.
Yeah.
Military versus religion.
Yeah, and
right.
so
in that, essentially that military has traditionally been the best, the first among equals of the three, but now there's no one left to conquer in the world since they've conquered the world, and so religion is starting to step forward and press, and it's not just religion, right? Religion is overarching, like education and like a bunch of other stuff. It's not just temples, right? So and the use of will, actually, religion also is like science, right? All the forward progressing will stuff and like using their magic better, it's religion.
Yeah.
And so government or the census is like the most boring because it's just the actual governance and information.
So I really liked how that whole thing was discussed, and how military, like you said, they don't really have a place anymore. They're used to being the big, strong, conquering people, but they've conquered everyone. And so military, you find out, essentially has helped. What they're trying to do is they're in a way allowing, and I think helping directly the Anguis in order to make a reason for their existence known, right? They're trying to like say, hey, these rebels are here fucking shit up. You need to give us more power in military.
Yes.
Which is very cool, and also I think history has proven that happens.
And that some members of the Anguis know this,
right,
and are using that fact and subverting it, because the military, even though they are the ones who ostensibly funded and created the Anguis, they had no idea how Melior did what he did at that Catanacus thing, and they don't know about this teleporting guy at the very end,
right?
So it was interesting.
I want to talk about will specifically. I know you talked about it some, but I'm trying to think of examples in the books of things people do with will. So like they control a lot of their technology with will.
Right.
So like the transport vessels are controlled by will. Trying to think of what other little things are done. Because you mentioned it's like will makes you like a superhero, basically, right? It enhances all those things, but they also use it for a lot of technology.
Yeah, and they use it as punishment too. They have these things at the very beginning of the book. The enemies of the hierarchy are strapped to these machines that basically sap the majority of your willpower, and it's described as basically the most awful thing ever.
Yeah,
it is absolutely brutal, and apparently there are many prisoners that the hierarchy has that basically sacrifice the majority of their will to, and they like can't control their bowel movements or anything like that. That's how much of their will is sapped.
I do want to bring up some of these. I'm actually just very curious because I'm looking at the names, having only heard the book and not seen it. How do you pronounce, Sage, the name of the father of Vis's father?
Ulcisor?
Yeah. So that's what I would have thought reading it. In the audiobook, it's Alciscor. Oh,
nice. Okay.
I never in a million years, because it's Ulciscor.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's a lot of other things we could touch on. Is there anything you want to talk about, or do you want to just jump into theories? What do you want to do?
Red?
Yeah, so because I did the summary, there's like one thing that I wanted to call out, and we sort of dabbled on this already, is these books are so nuanced and complex, and he writes in such a way where like you think you understand what's going on, kind of, but the like main character is confused about stuff, and so you're confused about it as well, and you're okay being confused about it. And then the end of the book, particularly the first time I read it, I was like, what in the fuck just happened?
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly what happened when I read it the first time. I was like, what the fuck is what? Because it's so let's go into it. There's a lot of reasons for that, right? So one is they use throughout the book, they use complicated language that they don't explain, right?
Yep.
There's just these little name drops of these places, Lucium and Obitium, which
Synchrony.
and Synchrony, right?
Yeah.
And they're just kind of dropped in place, but it's like, you know, this is like Scooby-Doo investigating these creepy ruins, and you see these words and you're like, okay, I don't know what the fuck that means. And then at the end of the book, you're now seeing, okay, whatever happened during the Hunger Games seems to have caused this to split into 3 parts, which seem to, at least in some ways, are able to communicate with the real world this, for lack of a better word. But they're limited. So it's like, yeah, you gotta like carve in your arm to try and communicate with the real one.
Yeah.
And so my guess is that's what Synchrony is, or a step towards Synchrony, because you would think Synchrony would mean all of them working together in harmony, right?
So I guess that Synchrony was existing in all 3 places. So they call normal reality res. And then there's Obitium and Lucium. Because the whole thing was like Synchrony is not allowed, right? You're not allowed to achieve Synchrony. And so if you go through the gate to Obitium and Lucium, and then he came back, and those dudes that tried to kill him kept saying, finish the journey. And so I took that to mean like, you have to die here in res because you now exist in Obitium and Lucium, and Synchrony is not allowed. So by having your presence in all 3 places, that's my guess as to what Synchrony is.
When you say not allowed, do you mean like it's against the legal rules, or do you mean like it's like physically, it's like bad for the realm?
Unclear, but like all of the like dead bodies that were teaching him how to use the maze in the ruins, when they explained why they were there, they were like, I attempted to achieve Synchrony and therefore was
punished.
Yeah.
So somehow it's not allowed, but it is very unclear how it's not allowed, or who has decided it's not allowed.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think, I mean, obviously it's like it's part of the charm of this book is like it's this giant mystery.
Yeah.
So one thing I think, like, great contextual, I think that the author did a great job of sort of dropping some contextual clues. So when Viz is first exploring that maze, and he's talking to these sort of dead ghost bodies that are explaining to him how it works, they're saying, you know, I attempted to achieve Synchrony and I was punished, right? So that tells you 2 things. One, there is a benefit to achieving Synchrony. We don't know what that is, but obviously it's something, they said it's reserved for leadership alone. So it's some sort of status or power or something that achieves. It's not just copying yourself across the 3.
That reminded me. Can we pause for one thing? I thought I noticed after he achieved Synchrony, or after he did the thing or whatever, when he fell in the water, he starts hinting at things where it's like, oh, I healed more than I thought I would, or like the damage wasn't as bad as, like, when he gets stabbed in the stomach, he's like, oh, the damage isn't as bad. So I kind of took that as them suggesting that whatever he did maybe gave him like an innate healing power, or gave him some like physical improvement.
There's a couple of things, right? Like he has that mental sense of people's presence.
That's right. He has that too.
And the guy, the teleport guy that he meets, like, recognizes something in him, and then also says, you're gonna lose that arm, none of us get out with scars. And he's got that like facial disfigurement. And I took it again to mean that teleport guy achieved Synchrony, and because of that he now gets to teleport, but at the cost of the disfigurement.
I was gonna say, I mean, I think it's hard to know, right? And so I think, you know, but so part of it is, like, at the end of the book, they say the Caror, the Alcisor's brother, right, in Obitium, says to this, or that version of this, you're too closely tied right now to the other versions of you, and that's why when he writes on his arm, that works. I think that's what I took that to mean. But I also took that to mean that it's not always going to be that way, right? And that it's only right so soon after crossing that happened. And so I wonder, when the Lucium version of this touches the two circles and he loses his left arm, I took that to mean that's why he lost his left arm in
res
as well, because it happened too soon after whatever. But I wonder if he had just waited for a while, would that have been different? Or I don't know. Right? It's just like one of those where we're not sure.
In theory, we can guess that the Obitium version will also
have to lose his arm somehow.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean that's yeah.
You were saying something before, Sage, and I interrupted, so I'm sorry. But you were saying there was a lot of foreshadowing or a lot of details in the dead people saying.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So part one is that it makes you stronger. There's a reason you want it. But what was part two?
Yeah. So one, there's a reason why they want it, right? And that it's something clearly they're desiring. Two, it's only reserved for leadership, right? So it's a very specific, leadership of what, right? We don't know, right? Presumably whoever built, but there's presumably some sort of organization at some point in time that existed across all three worlds, and they are the ones who are gatekeeping this particular power or ability, or whatever it is. So I just thought that there's a lot of clues that teaches you. You automatically know that one, it's something to be desired. Two, a lot of people have done it. They said, oh, in the second age after the rendering, the third age after the rendering, or rending, or whatever it is. So over time, a lot of people have attempted this and failed and or been punished for it. And I thought punished was an interesting word to use, because that implies that someone else is doing the punishing. Yeah. So there is there is an organization or something that is making them, enslaving them to this machine now, to do that. So I just thought there's a lot of implications there in that one. And then at the very end, there's even more so as well. So
I was gonna ask. I want to talk about what you guys think about Viridius, the Principalis. One thing we didn't quite talk about that I want to talk in a little bit more detail is that when Alquizcor's brother, what's his name again?
Terror.
Cirror.
C-A-E-R-O-R.
Cirro. I'm just going to say it kind of fast. Cirro. So originally what happened is when Cirro committed suicide, allegedly, there's air quotes, he was doing that final challenge with Viridius and then with the blind woman.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah.
Yes, we can still hear you. You just can't hear
my
us.
cat just unplugged my headphones.
It's a very cat thing.
So.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you hear me the whole time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So they do that final thing together, and then as a result, I don't know what I'm going to call her, Lannistia. Lannistia's blind and doesn't remember what happened.
Yep.
Cirro, that's
Cirror.
So I like that. So you think she might know, and she's just claiming she doesn't.
I think it's very possible that she knows something.
Right.
She's not saying you don't know. Right. So
Cirro dies, and Viridius survives and becomes the Principalis and whatever. So my question is, do you think Viridius knows like all of it? Like, what do you think he knows? What do you think he's hiding?
So yeah, go ahead.
I could see it going a lot of different ways. The first time I read it, I was like, oh, he's evil. Clearly, he's evil. This second time, I want to like him so badly. And so I've created this like plot in my head, and who knows if it's how it's going to pan out, right? But him and Cirror and Lannistia were the top in their class, and they found the ruins together, and they decided that Cirror was going to be the one to run the maze and go into the gate. And so he does that, and when he comes out, the dead bodies attack just like they did with this. And my theory is that they kill Cirror and they take Lanistia's eyes, whether they like infect them and she loses them the same way that Vis lost a limb because they bit him, or whatever other thing that they do. And Viridius escapes with Lanistia, but he obviously cannot say that Ciror died from those like dead body things. And so his whole mission is to rescue Ciror and figure out where he went. That's my new canon.
So my only question of that is, why would he say he committed suicide instead of just saying he died?
The shame of suicide would make people not look into it.
Oh,
so I think that's something. I don't think that's the whole story, because Viridius says very clearly to Vis, we need to save the world. And what I am doing here is going to help us save the world, and I need your help, right? And so, to me, that implies that he does know that where Ciror went, and there's a problem with it. So I was going to say, I was going to zoom out for a second, and like one thing that I really like about this book is that there's like conflicts within conflicts within conflicts.
Yes.
So there is the Anguis, right, against the hierarchy, and they're quote unquote they're funded by the military, but they sort of gone out of control. And so one way that you see that is at the very beginning of the book, or near the beginning of the book, when they attack the Transvect that Vis and his adopted father are on. She shoots the adopted father with an arrow, and even though he is a Quintus, it instantly takes him out and disables everything, and it shouldn't be able to do that. And there is no known technology that's able to do that, right? And then the thing with Melior, so that's one conflict. Then you've got the second conflict between the military, religion, and government, but really military and religion, and they're fighting for power. Then you've got this third conflict with Viridius himself and Alcisor, and he's trying to do something with this maze, and he alludes to saving the world. And then at the very, very end of the book, his brother Ciror says, how do you pronounce him?
Whose brother?
Alcisor's brother?
Ciror.
Whatever. He says something to the effect of, you've been copied, I suppose, the same way the world was thousands of years ago in the war against the concurrence. It's how you got here. And so obviously that's
Ciror is saying that to Vis, is what you're saying.
Says this to Vis in Obitium. And so he's referring to something called the concurrence. You don't know what that is, but you also know that there was some great conflict in the past, and the dead bodies keep saying that Obitium is lost. The enemy has Obitium, and it is lost. And then Ciror is referring to this thousands-year-old conflict, and the bad guys being called the concurrence or whatever. Concurrence. So I just love there's all these different layers of conflict that are happening, and I'm sure they're all going to tie into one another as well. But it's fascinating.
What is the thing that you said this earlier about? In like the history of the planet, there were they reckonings? What were they called?
Rendings.
Do we know what that is?
No.
You would think it has to do with whatever the hell this is, right? With the concurrence or...
Wait. But there's also the cataclysm too, and we don't know what that is. I mean, we kind of know what that is, but technology that allows the hierarchy to pass willpower between people at all, they don't understand how it works, but it's pre-cataclysm technology that they just use.
Yeah.
So you kind of understand that the cataclysm was a fall of a society that had that level of technology. We don't actually know what happened or why they fell.
And that it was recent, right? I think that there's some mention about how this Roman Empire, the hierarchy itself, only has existed for like a couple hundred years. And before that,
100 years ago, it was really small.
Yeah. And they basically conquered the world in 100 years. And it was only like 60 or 80 years ago that they actually discovered these these things that enable them to sort of transfer will and things like that. And they know that it comes from a previous technology. So there's the rending, there's the cataclysm, and then the dead body that was explaining this to him is referring to different ages, which I assume is time between cataclysms, but you have no idea.
So I wonder if the man, it's really hard to pronounce everything in this book. The augurs, what are they called again? The Ayers, the resistance group.
The Anguis.
The Anguis, if their technology that they have is very advanced, I wonder if it's pre-cataclysmic and somehow they found it or got a hold of it, or...
So I find the Anguis on the second reread so interesting. And I think it was you, Butter, that sent the link to that video of these, and that pointed out to me things that I hadn't thought about. I mean, I had noticed all of the things, but I hadn't thought about the meaning. So like the guy with the scar on the face, him, in theory, being in synchrony means he either went through the gate on that island, which seems very far-fetched because the island is controlled by religion and has like really strict security measures.
Yeah, seems unlikely.
Or there is another place that does the same thing, right? And I hadn't even thought about that as something that must be true, because this guy clearly has these special abilities that he is implying came from synchrony.
I wonder if there's people that start in the other realms and then can come to res, or do you have to originate in res?
So there is an implication that is the case, right?
You have to start in res, or
no, because in the Viz version of him that's in Lucium, the guy that's helping him says, "Just wait. There's someone from your world that is coming to speak to you." Right. So that implies that
he's not right. That he's from that world. Otherwise, he would say,
world.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he would say, yeah, there's just someone coming.
Right.
Whatever. Right. So I would think that, yeah. So it's interesting. I did see that video, Butter, that you had sent, and I kind of agree. It's very likely a Earth, Heaven, Hell allegory type thing going on.
Yeah.
But obviously a lot more complicated than that, right? It's not just heaven, not just hell, because people live there and they have grown up there and so forth. I'm reminded there was a book series that I read like 25 years ago, probably 25 years ago, where it was a similar setup where the world, some cataclysm had happened and the world had been split into three versions. There was a high, middle, and low, and high was obviously heaven and low was hell. But gods in this particular book series, like gods existed, and so there was a high, a middle, and a low version of hell, but they're all equally shitty, basically. and the high people were basically so righteous and cold that they were almost as evil as the people below. Anyway, it was a really fascinating series, and I cannot remember the name of it or what the heck happened to it. I think I only read like 3 of the books or whatever, and then I think the next one hadn't come out yet, and I just never picked it up again. But
a very different depiction of heaven and hell. It's not like, oh, in heaven everyone's super sweet and nice and kind and good, and
yeah. And so it just reminds me of this, where it's like split across the 3. And so I just think that's probably I agree with the video you sent, where this is the most likely explanation of what's going on.
Yeah. What was the other thing I was gonna say? Let's if we can talk more about what we think is going on with the census numbers that our boy, whose name I can't remember, who is Vis's friend, Calidus, R.I.P. Calidus. Calidus, by the way, I just want to get this out of the way. Love Calidus as a character. Absolutely adore Calidus. He has a fascinating arc. Tragic. The very short version is that he's brilliant, clearly is like a great student, but he essentially he fell for a girl and did something stupid and gave her information about this conspiracy he found, and she blackmailed him and basically said, all right, I'm gonna expose you and fuck you up unless you stay in the lowest class forever. Yes. And Calidus is very smart and was a great soundboard for this throughout the whole book, and unfortunately is dead. But he essentially uncovered...
Oh,
you're muted.
You're
Muted. Sorry, I was just going to say, I'm really hoping he shows up in either Obitium or Lucium.
I know. It'd be really cool. I don't... Whatever. They could do it. I don't know how any of this works, so I was going to say, I don't know how they would pull that off, but I don't even understand what these realms are, so... So he uncovers that basically, you mentioned this earlier, but the numbers regarding the pyramids don't make sense, and it looks like that essentially the way they're saying will is being distributed, the math doesn't add up.
Yes.
And so what that makes me think is someone's taking more will, like someone is taking a little bit extra from here, a little bit extra from here to be the most powerful, basically to supersede that what we are told is the highest level, which is the whatever 3 is.
Tertius.
No, sorry. There's
is there a secundus?
No, there's 2s and 1s, Domitius and Princeps.
Oh, you're right. I'm so sorry. Yeah, because there is a Domitius. I didn't even think there was a Princeps. Oh,
there is. They only reference him. They don't give him a name.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Who's Domitius in this? Because that does sound familiar.
Yes.
There was a Domitius it was Indol's dad.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. So at the military organization or meeting.
Each pyramid of the 3 big ones has 2 guy and 1 princeps. So
that's right.
3 princeps of the hierarchy.
Yeah.
And it would make sense to me, especially this like shadowy princeps figure that we never see is taking much more willpower than the math would suggest that they are, because the whole numbers not making sense is that there should be way more people at the 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 level than there are, because there's so many people at 8 and 7 giving will upwards. There's not enough people above to receive it. So like you said, someone has to be taking more.
In your theory,
going somewhere else. But my theory is like the top guy is taking it.
Yeah. Or Princeps is number 2, you said?
Princeps is number 1, Domitius
Oh, sorry.
is number 2.
Domitius is number 2. I think it'd be pretty cool if Domitius is secretly taking it to try and overthrow the Princeps.
Or maybe it's like a high-level conspiracy at above a certain level where like all of the 2s.
Right, all of them are secretly getting more because they're all feeding from the trough. Yeah, that's a cool theory. And so it seems, I'm curious to see what happens in this next book with this being at working for governance, right? Yeah. How many of these conspiracies is he going to expose? How much trouble is he going to get in? What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, two things that I just remembered and I wanted to talk about was, one, I like the fact that even though this is a Mary Sue type character, right? He's very smart. He's very good at things. He's not so overly smart and good at everything that he is, like he does have equals, right? He's not so clearly above and beyond everyone else, right? And Calidus is admittedly, he says Calidus is smarter and faster and better than he is. Not as physically gifted, but so I thought that was, I do like Mary Sue characters, but I don't like obnoxiously Mary Sue characters. Like, Quoth from Name of the Wind is what I would consider an obnoxiously Mary Sue character, right?
Is there a male equivalent? Is it like a Harry?
Yeah,
Sue?
It is. I keep saying Mary Sue. I can't remember what the name of it is.
Just for everyone who doesn't know that term, Mary Sue is, I mean, you kind of described it by not describing it, but the idea is it's a character that's the best at everything, that can do no wrong, that is infallible.
Yeah, they're just obnoxiously good at everything, which this is very good at things, but there's an explanation behind it, and he does have equals. So I thought that was one good thing. The second thing I'll say is that he really harps on the fact that in the hierarchy, there's this concept of birthright, that everyone is able to rise based on merit, and that everyone is, he's like oddly squeamish about death, which...
That's part of birthright, as I understand it.
Yes.
Who are we talking about? This is squeamish about death?
Yes. Very squeamish about death.
Because he keeps saying, like, doesn't that violate birthright? Aren't you worried about birthright?
Yeah.
So, like, birthright, as I understood it, was because the hierarchy believes every life is valuable because every life has will to give to the pyramid. And therefore, you are not allowed to take anybody's life for any reason, because they are contributing to our power, basically. And so this is constantly like mentioning, oh, but what about birthright? Because anything that risks someone's life is against birthright.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just figured that was a crock of shit that the rich and powerful said in order to keep the people at bay.
As a big policy, it makes sense, right? If your power is based off of having a ton of minions.
Oh, totally. But it's for me, it's very much the like, hey, this rule applies to you, but like I'm at the top of the pyramid, so go fuck yourself. I'm gonna do whatever I want.
But I find it like so like he's so dogmatic about it, which I find a little off-putting. Like even when he's like he kills Melior, who is just slaughtering thousands of people, and he's like, "Oh my God, I violated birthright," you know, and like you know what I mean? So it's like it's almost like ludicrously or naively attached to this idea of birthright.
I know the same thing, and it bothered me the same way.
Yeah, it's like even like in today's modern society, right? In reality, like obviously life is sacred, you know, you don't casually go around murdering and killing people.
Right, but if you're killing the head of a terrorist organization who's slaughtering millions, you'd be like okay.
No one's like, oh my God, I'm so sad that Osama bin Laden got killed.
Right.
Like that's not, you know, not really. I mean,
I wouldn't say nobody, but I get your point. Yes.
Most people in Western society are like, oh man, he should have been brought to trial. Right. Like, no. So
see, it's interesting you say that because I always thought of it. I totally hear what you guys are saying now, and I agree. Mm-hmm. But for some reason in my mind, I took it as this has a lot of these concepts he carries from being raised in Seuss and then being forced into the society where he doesn't want to do any of these things. But he's like torn between do I represent who I was from Seuss, or do I do my best in this society? And so for me, it just seems like a little bit of this, like, almost inside his head cognitive dissonance of like, oh, I'm trying to just be the best. And maybe that's why he harped on the birthright thing so much, because it's like he's torn in the society, and a lot of it is how much is good, how much is bad, how much is hypocrisy. I don't know. That's how I saw this character, is like, I think he has a tough fucking life, and I don't think it's going to get easier as he gains more power in this society.
Yeah.
Because he's already shown a number of times that, look, I'm not saying he should throw away his life for a stupid cause where he's not going to make a difference. Mm-hmm. But like multiple people in the story have already been like, hey buddy, you're the Prince of Zeus. Like, you gonna do rebel stuff? And he's already seems a little bit flaky on it.
It's going to be really interesting. I mean, they got to address it at the beginning of the next series when he goes to the census office. How is he going to handle the fact that he doesn't cede willpower because he chose a position where he expected of him?
Yeah, as I say, so they're going to have to. But I have a feeling that, like we're talking about the synchronism, where it gives him power. I'm guessing that is essentially he's going to use that and say, oh, so people are ceding will to me. Look, would I be able to do this if I can't do that? And that would also tie into the greater part of the story where maybe these will constructs are basically a way that some ancient empire used to try and get around the commandment of isolation, where synchronism is no longer possible, so you can't gain these powers. So instead, you can cede will and mimic the effects of synchronism.
But then how would he cede will to the person above him?
It's a great point. Yeah, that's true.
But then also, like, I do remember, I can't remember if it was Calidus or if it was Ulquiskor, who was like the actual 3 people who do the census don't cede will because they have to be impartial and they don't receive will either.
Oh, okay. Well,
part of me also wonders, is the position that he requested, it was never explicitly said if this is the same
position.
If Calidus's dad is that guy who doesn't have to cede or receive will.
I don't think so, because his dad is a Quartus or something like that. Like he has a number attached to his name. His dad does.
Ulquiskor or Kaladin's dad?
Calidus's dad.
Calidus's dad.
A number attached to his name. Yeah. Here, I can look it up. I can't remember what it is. But
you know, the other thing too is I didn't realize for some reason, I thought that the people that seed are all Octavi. And then if you're 7 or above, you don't have to seed other people. You just get more will or less will from Octavi. So Quintus, so Alquizcore is giving up his will to someone higher in the pyramid.
Half. But so he's gaining a shit ton of will from people below him, and then he's giving half of it to the person above him.
So it's like taxes, basically. But he's net positive. They're all net positive.
I gotta go find my dog. I'll be right back.
Okay. I hope you find your dog.
Yeah.
Thanks. So we can wait till Red comes back to talk about this, but I want to hear like what things you think are going to happen. Did you find your dog?
She's such a little shit. The first time I opened the door, she's all black. She's hiding somewhere. I go open the door the second time, she's staring at me. Like, what did you want? Please continue.
Anything else from this book, or do you want to talk about what we think is going to happen or what we hope happens in the next book?
Yeah, sure.
I want to say how impressed I am with his writing ability. That he is a king of like show don't tell. He does not explain a lot of things, and yet I never felt really confused the way I have in other books. Like there was enough dropping of information, whether in conversation or in action or whatever, to follow along, and yet it was so complex and complicated. It's just like really impressive to me how he could pull that off, particularly in rereading it, right? It reads so differently when you know what's going on. So for him, who knows the whole story, to be able to write it in a way that the person who has no idea still follows is really impressive.
Yeah.
I do want to say now that I thought about it, is I'm also impressed with like how much shit is in this book. Like so much stuff happens. And I guess in my mind, when I was reading it, for some reason, I thought the school would take longer. And maybe it's because I'm used to Harry Potter, where every book is a year, right? But it seems like in the grand scheme of things, they spend very little time in the school. But I can't tell how much of that is my perspective of reading it all in one book versus what was it? I think it was were they trimesters?
Yeah, they were 3-month trimesters and then a 1-month gap. And
so he was in school for a year?
Not quite, because he missed the first trimester.
Yeah.
So he did 2 months of training before he went. He was in school for 3 months. Then they spent a month at Soust and then 3 months.
Yeah. And you don't even get to the school part until almost 40% through the book.
Right. That's what I was going to say is the first, we didn't even talk about the first part of the book really, because it's a lot of stuff that like, kind of isn't that important in the grand schemes of the actual story, but it's boy works in jail, then boy is in fights for money, boy is orphan, then boy is adopted. And really the story picks up when he gets adopted by Alquizcore. But there's a good portion of the book that is just like boy fending for himself in the society that doesn't seem to be, taking very good care of him. Believe it or not,
that's only like the first 5% of the book.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because there's a lot that happens between when Alquizcore picks him up and he actually goes to the school.
That's true. That's true.
All the Anguis stuff happens.
That's true.
Catanicus. Catanicus, and traveling and getting ambushed on the Transvect, training with Lanista, meeting the family, realizing who Alquizcore's wife is.
Yeah.
All of that basically happens before.
The wife thing.
The wife thing's after, but everything else is before.
Okay,
yeah, because it happens after they go to the memorial for the dead or whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Yep. By the way, Callus's dad is a Tertius.
So that's 4?
3.
Third. Okay, and Alquizcore's a Quintus?
Yep.
5. So now he's going to work for a guy who's a 3, you said?
Yep.
We don't actually know that he's going to go work for him per se.
Directly. He's just going to work
We just know that he's going to work in the same senatorial pyramid as him. Yeah.
What else was I going to say about the training? You're right. A lot of stuff does happen in this book even before school. And then they have school. I guess I guess part of me thinks that, you know, going to this academy for less than a year is kind of weird. But I guess the other part is that, like, they're fucking training their entire lives, theoretically, to get to this super prestigious school. And then maybe the school itself is just meant to be a testing ground to get them, you know, placed. But I am really curious to see in the next book how much time is going to pass. Like, I wonder. So he's like, what? He's like, is he 18 now? 17?
Yeah, 18.
Yeah.
They're supposed to finish school when they turn 18. Roughly.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that's really cool in this book that they did well is how this, because of his position and because he's being manipulated by so many people, we get to see the different perspectives of the different factions, right? Yeah. And I think it's really cool how we see the anguish, we see the position of military at that meeting, we see position of religion. I feel like government is what we've seen the least of, and that's probably, well, not why he chose it, but from like a storytelling perspective, I bet you we're going to learn a lot more about government in this book.
Yep.
Okay, anything else, or do you want to talk about what you think is going to happen in the next book?
Next book.
Yeah. So, I'm curious. I'm excited because I'm going to start this book right after this. So I'm going to find out real quick, and I hope you guys can too.
So one sad thing that I already know that I'm gonna, well,
don't spoil anything,
but I don't think that I'll like about the next book is that I assume this perspective will be split into 3, and so we will be getting a multi-POV book, which I prefer less than a single POV book.
Me too.
But you know,
I like multiple POV books.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
Yep.
Like I always think of Game of Thrones. Like I love the multiple POV storyline things.
I like the continuous story, particularly when like things are ramping up and then you transition to somebody else's storyline. I find it very infuriating.
Yeah. And it's hard to care, right?
Yeah.
It makes you quickly read through other books. I'm going to just say it. The Sanderson Way of King books is pretty egregious about this, right? It's like one of the most common complaints. Now, I still love those books.
No, that book series is the reason I am not a Sanderson fan.
I still need to read whatever the 5th one is. Winds of Truth. Yeah, I heard it didn't get super great reviews.
That's a perfect way to explain it to Sage of like, I don't give a shit about what's happening in this chapter now because I want to know what happened after this thing, and you're giving me something else, somebody else's story that is less emotionally important to me right now.
That's so funny. I think for me, it's probably ADHD brain because I'm like, oh, what's going on over here? Oh, what's going on over here? We haven't checked in with them for a while. What's going on here? Whereas it's just one person. It's like, oh.
You would like The Wandering End.
Would I? What's The Wandering End? What is that?
Yeah, The Wandering End. Yeah, it's a it's sort of a slice of life lit RPG book, but it's also, it gets really intense, but it's a very, very long series. And the I will say the writing quality gets much better as the series goes on, but Red basically tried it and gave up after one book, not even, right?
What is this one?
The Wandering Inn.
What, you're gonna have to give me more than a name. I don't remember that.
It's
is that the like trope role people?
No, that's the one I was so shocked that you didn't like that one. I was very shocked you didn't like that one. Butter, you would actually like that series as well. That one is A Practical Guide to Evil.
Practical Guide to Evil. Okay. I was just thinking because I finished House of Blades. What I was going to say is House of Blades is kind of 3 different POVs. I don't know if you remember or.
Yeah, it is.
It is
because it's Leah. It's actually multiple because you get other people too.
Okay, so I want to stress that, I think Red feels the same way. I don't mind other chapters with other POVs, but I don't like it when it's like relatively evenly split.
Oh,
like,
I see.
want, like,
so if it's 90% one point of view and then 10%.
I do think that other views and perspectives is helpful, right? So a great example of that is Will White's, he's the great, the Cradle series, right? Where 90% of the series is from Lyndon's perspective, but you get lots of other chapters from Yaren's perspective, from, I don't know, Ethan's perspective, but they're sprinkled in, right? As opposed to, but the main story tends to stick with Lyndon.
Yep.
I wanted to ask you for House of Blades, by the way, and you don't have to tell me because I can just read it. But in this book, they had a person come down and give Alan this power and was like, "Oh, you shouldn't have this yet." Blah 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 blah. And I didn't know.
No,
it's not iteration stuff.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then it is an iteration in that universe, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Also, Alan fucking sucks. I fucking talk about Mary Sue. Oh my god, I fucking hate that character so much. He's such an asshole, annoying, arrogant piece of shit. That's it? Nothing?
You gotta
I gotta read the book.
Series.
Okay, all right. Wow, I got a whole non-response. Okay, all right.
Yeah, you gotta read the series.
Okay.
But anyway, so about this series, so next book. Yeah, so I really want to find out. It's sort of funny. I think that the version of this in Res, that's the story that I kind of care the least about right now. I really want to find out what's going on in Lucium and Obitium.
Interesting.
Right? Like, I want to know, like, with the Heaven and Hell versions.
For me, so I'm the opposite for the same reason as like the main character POV thing, right? We're so invested in this story.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know how it fucking plays out. I am particularly interested to see what we find out about Amisa, his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And how she knew that thing about Indol that she claimed he told her, and he's like, I didn't fucking tell her that.
Yes.
And how she recognized that the bite on his arm meant that he was gonna die, and she must somehow be in league with Viridius. But yeah, anyway.
It does seem that way. It does seem that Amisa and Viridius are
yeah. And she thought it was something else. So I'm very curious to know what it is that she thought it was. I think they alluded to something earlier in the book about some type of virus or something like that, or something that they don't understand that's affecting parts of the Republic. I cannot remember the exact terminology or where it is, but they allude to something. So I wonder.
There's something like a plague. Yeah, some type of
plague thing or something that's affecting them, and it doesn't matter. Will cannot cure it or help it.
But how do we know she thought it was something else?
Because one, Viridius says that at the end, right? She thought it was something else. And then two, her demeanor changes when she sees the black bite mark on his arm.
I thought that meant she recognized it as a wound from the dead people. That like she... okay. I thought you were saying she thought it was not a wound from the dead people. She thought it was some other.
It could be, right?
We don't know. We don't
know, right? And so you're right. I am very curious to know. I want to know what she thought, right? And how she's going to fit into this next book. I think she's from a military family, right?
That's what I was going to ask. Is she's military? She's military.
Yeah. But clearly, if she's working with Viridius, we would expect her to be religion.
Yeah.
And Indol said he was going to. Well, he didn't say it to us, but our understanding is Indol is going religion.
Yes.
So I guess theory one would be that she recognized the arm because she thought it was something to do with synchrony, right? Is theory one, and then theory two is that maybe she thought it was a plague or something else.
Yeah.
I prefer
bold move to like see your boyfriend's black arm, not really understand the plague, but be like, oh, he's gonna die, better kill him.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll find out, but I don't understand why she did that.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, that's the point. That's supposed to make you want to read the next book. But I with the information we have now, I just don't understand why that would be a thing. Yeah. Which makes you think synchrony is something that can cause something cataclysmic. Like it's something that is bad.
Yeah. But I got the sense that it's forbidden because of something having to do with Obitium. or Obitium or whatever it is,
Obitium.
right? Obitium. So because that's the reason why the commandment of isolation exists, is because Obitium is lost, right? They keep saying that, and so that's why synchrony is banned. So that's one. I also want to know what's going on with Vis's other best friend. We have not.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned in the whole fucking episode.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned in the entire episode, but he's basically, from what I gather,
what's his name?
Like
Aiden.
Yeah, he's basically like a prince, or not a prince, but the son of a chieftain of, like, I got the impression of like almost like a Mongol horde type tribe.
I got like mountain clan, like kind of like
mountain clan horse horde
is how I pictured it.
Oh, Viking. Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, because he is a tall blonde kid, right? Yeah. So, but very warlike. And he backs out of the challenge because he was going to help this at the last second. And so something is going on there. And
I'm trying to remember. So Viridius, Vis picks his team, and then Viridius says, okay, I got to talk to both of them, and then they'll let you know if they join or not. And then I'm trying to remember what he said specifically.
I remember. He was basically like, you have to trust your team, and you would not be able to trust me now after I've talked to Viridius. So Viridius offered everybody some grand prize if they double cross their team leader and win. Right? Like Equa, Calidus was told he would be Victorian or valedictorian, even though he was in the bottom of the class.
Right.
So I assume that Aiden was offered some sort of benefit to his people, right?
That he could not give up.
Exactly. That if he put himself in the position to earn it, he would have to do it. And so he's like, I can't do that to Viz, and so I'm not doing it.
It was an offer he couldn't refuse.
Yes.
Get it? Godfather? Nice. Sage? Okay, fine.
Sorry, I'm reading something right now.
It was an offer he couldn't refuse. It was an offer. I'm the Godfather. So, and then Calidus. So, I remember what I was going to ask. That was just a trust. Do you think that was just a trust thing? Saying like, whoever you should have on your team should be most trustworthy? Or was Viridius like sabotaging this because he thought that Vis was going to go to the... Like, I guess one of the questions I have the whole thing is like, is Viridius trying to sabotage Vis the whole time? But then at the end, he's like, oh, no, it's okay.
I want to like Viridius. I want to think he has good intentions, which is to protect Vis and keep him out of the ruins, but not like sabotage him in the school.
That's what I wonder. Is he sabotaging him, or is he like, I'm really on your side, helping you out. You're learning from challenge and struggle, and I got you.
Think he's like trying to help him succeed. I think he's trying to protect him and keep him away.
Because he's like, ruins bad, synchrony bad, stay away from synchrony, and he's convinced that this is gonna do that.
Yes.
Knowing what I know of the author, and there are some massive twists in his other series, I think that Viridius is a good guy.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that he is a good guy, and he is going to be vilified and likely killed before the end of the story. That's just my theory. But anyway.
And he's,
that would make him a tragic sacrifice character. Same thing with Calidus. But anyway.
So, do we think Viridius knows that this achieves synchrony?
Yes. I think he recognized the wound on his arm, like what it meant, and knows what he did. And that's why I think he was like, you have to choose religion and choose the school and stay here with me and help me.
Right, because now you know this shit. You know what we're dealing with. You have to stay. And this is like, no, fuck you.
I don't trust you. Yeah.
I like what he said, too. I think he said something along the lines of, like, you may be right, whatever you're doing, but right now I'm not in a position where I could trust you or want to trust you or want to listen to you.
That's right.
I thought that was very cool how he admits, like, you could, everything you know and think and want me to do could be the right answer, but fuck you right now.
Yeah.
So you think he does? So you think Viridius does know about that just from the appearance of the arm?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm very curious about the. I hope we get the what happened originally with Viridius and Sirio and Lannistia. I don't know if we will. I don't know if they do a flashback thing or if it'd be more of just like, he just says it. Well, back in the day, here's what happened.
Well, and now that I'm thinking about it too, the fact that Siror is still alive in Obitium means that either our theory about what happens to you in one realm happens to you in another realm for a while is wrong, because Siror died pretty shortly after, you would presume, and so he should be dead in Obitium, or a lot more happened after Siror achieved going through the gate before he died, and that's why the Obitium version of him is not dead.
Yeah.
I'm also curious, what happens if you're on one of the other worlds? Can you re-synchronize? Can you go back through the gate? And like, so if
your question is, can Sirio go back to Res?
Yeah. Or whatever.
You say the name differently every time, Butter.
Yeah.
Do I? I don't. Whatever his fucking name is.
But
I don't know.
But like, if
I just say it fast enough.
Oh, but obviously not, because there's no. It doesn't seem like there's a barrier, right, on the other side. Like technically, you could immediately go back through the gate. I don't know.
Yeah, it's unclear.
Yeah, like that's why I'm so curious about, like, okay, let's say it's a metaphor for heaven and hell and whatever. Even if it's, not super direct, like, it's an illusion or something. But the question is, we do think that there are people who originated in that world, right? Based on the comment you said where he says there's someone from your world.
Yeah.
Right. And we think that the people in Obitium are bad, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, we can't let them, they're lost, I think is what the wording was. So like, do we think it's like they banished a bunch of bad people to Obitium, or do we think that
so yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's what I'm asking. If you know.
I'm gonna renege on what I said earlier where I thought, it's a heaven hell thing. Actually, no, it probably isn't that, because Keror makes, at the very end of the book in Obitium, he makes a mention that you were copied, just like the world was thousands of years ago in the war with the concurrence. So that really means that Res, Lucium, and Obitium are essentially just the same world copied 3 times over, and one happened to be taken by the enemy and one was not.
Oh, right? Did you ever watch Fringe? That show?
No, but I remember that show.
You just made me think about it in the relation to this, and like, if I recall, I think what they did is like they made a copy world to like put all the I think like Realm 1 or Universe 1 was like gonna be fucking destroyed or fucked up or doomed or whatever. So they locked up Universe 1. They made a parallel dimension that was the same thing in a different place that they could escape to get away from the bad people. And so, I mean, that's a very like simple explanation of what it was. But I wonder if that's what happened, right? Is like, was there a realm? Was it like the cataclysm was happening in Res? They're like, we need to get the fuck out of here. Or did they put all the bad people in Obitium to isolate them or whatever, and blah blah blah, and synchronism is bad because it can allow those people now to come back to our realm or something like that. I mean,
theory
none of us know.
Yeah, or it's like something where like it was all one world, and it basically took the best attributes and the worst attributes of the world and split them, and so that's Lucium, that's Obitium.
Whatever.
Yeah, Red has the perfect pronunciation, and Butter, you and I are just like fumbling.
Yeah, I don't.
It's atrocious. Yeah,
I just say it fast and hope someone corrects me.
I don't know how she's getting it like perfect every time.
Obitium.
I just like
she can actually read.
I've said Obitium. I've said that like probably 100 times in the course of this podcast, and I get it wrong like every other time. terrible. But I also think that could be it too, right? Where it's like basically the best qualities and the worst qualities were split out from the world, and Rez is just average or something right now, and and that's essentially why it's a Lucium and Obitium.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting theory.
Yeah.
I just don't know why. I mean, we'll find out. Hopefully it looks, but you think we'll figure, like, do you think we'll get answers for that kind of stuff in this book, or do you think they're going to prolong it till the next book?
I think we'll get a lot of answers, but I think we'll also have new questions.
Right. Do you think we're going to learn more do you think we're going to have more answers or more questions in this book?
Same.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have the same.
I'm okay with same. I'm not okay with no answers and only more questions. I hate it when books do that.
If it follows if it's like his other series, like after the end of the first book in his other series, you have a million questions and you don't really know what the fuck is going on. You're just like, sorry, excuse my language, but you have no idea what's going on. You're like, oh my God, this is whatever. And in the second book, it really opens up the plot, explains a ton, and you are introduced to a bunch of characters that actually matter. And then in the third book, it wraps up the storylines.
Oh, so do you think that in the second book, it's going to be something like, this is the real war, this is the real world, these are the real things we have to worry about and think of, and you think absolutely. Rez is important, but you think the Senate and politics are important, but in reality, this is the real war. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I believe you because you've read the other books. That's not what I was guessing. I thought it was going to be a lot more like, the political intrigue is important, and that's why that's interesting.
I think you're gonna find out that it's all tied together. But obviously, the enemy that took Obitium,
that's good. I think that's
right.
Yeah.
Okay, the enemy that took Obitium is probably reaching into the other two worlds and corrupting or whatever, and that's probably what's going on with the hierarchy. And it's okay. I have a feeling it's going to tie together. If I were, I just think that
if you're a betting man.
Yeah, having read lots of fiction books, that's probably the idea of how the plot's going to go. I would love to be like totally surprised though, and I could be because Islington really throws out some crazy twists, and I love it. So, yeah.
Well, I'm excited. I'm gonna download this audiobook right now. We were talking earlier about audiobooks and how this one's actually released at the appropriate time, unlike Lost Cube. It's not getting an audiobook till April.
Yeah. Well, who Islington has a full publisher, right? He's not publishing it himself.
Oh, is that why? Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I'm not positive that's why, but if I had to guess. Oh, just as a side note, I hate Viz's real name.
Diago?
Yeah. God.
It is a little.
It sucks.
It's a little silly. I mean, it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, it is a little kind of like, that's his name?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm reading I think it's funny because in House of Blades, compared to Cradle, I think like Lyndon's unique name, Yaris's unique name. In House of Blades, we got Simon. And Simon, Leah, and Alan. I was like, what is this? Are we just like on Earth in 2020?
I don't know. Well, I know Red's got a hard stop coming up, so
yeah. We're done. Reading Books with Friends, a podcast. Next time. Yay. So I'm Butter.
I'm Red.
I'm Sage.
We're gonna do the next one next time, right? The Strength of the Few, or what is it?
Yeah, I think we should go Strength of the Few, and then we could circle back to Lost Cube.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I was telling Red earlier that I'm actually getting way faster at reading books because of the audiobook thing. I'm hoping you'd be impressed, Sage.
I am. Oh
compared to how slow I used to be.
I will say you read Will of the Many like probably faster than I've ever heard of you reading a book.
So I liked it. I liked it a lot. Impressive. So obviously
you read the Bastion books very quickly too.
I think I'm just getting better. I think the audiobook helps, number one, and number two, it's like I had to get back in the zone of enjoying books, and also we're only reading good books. That helps, right? Yeah. When you read, we haven't read a shitty book in a while for this, and I think when we read shitty books, I'll be slow again.
So, on that note, Butter, when we run out of good books we're dying to read and it's your turn to pick, don't make us pick shitty books.
Right, but it's funny.
Oh
no!
Can I give you guys a new interesting book to read too?
No,
I'm reading this interesting book, and then I got to read The Lost Cube.
Well, okay,
fine, just tell me what it is.
Red, you and I.
No, save it.
Also, you can just say it.
Yeah, it's called Ironbound by Andrew Givler. I think.
The Ironbound?
No, just Ironbound, not the Ironbound. Just Ironbound.
And what was that other book you said?
Givler.
I got Wandering In, and then I didn't get something about evil.
Wandering In, and then A Practical Guide to Evil.
A Practical.
You can't listen to A Practical Guide to Evil though, Butter. It's a web.
I think they.
Oh, they have a audio.
Yeah.
But it's one of those where it's like a lit RPG.
Yes. No. Yeah, Practical Guide to Evil is a lit RPG.
There's leveling. I mean,
yeah. Okay. No, I take that back. You're right. It's not.
It's not.
It pokes fun at a lot of tropes.
Oh, okay. Fiction. No, but I was just saying the reason I was bringing that up is because I find lit RPGs difficult to audiobook sometimes because they're like level 3 skill. This is the skill indeed, and it's like, come on. Ironbound. Why Ironbound?
I read it and I just thought it was a really good book, and it reminded me of Will of the Many because it's also a Roman Empire type setting.
Give me a 30-second,
like a fantasy Roman Empire type.
30-second description.
I can read you the.
Yeah, read me the little thing. Read the thing.
In the Iron Empire, only the strongest are given a chance to ascend. As long as he can remember, Casper is wanting nothing more than to fuse with a core heart. Made of an otherworldly metal, it would give him the ability to bind a symbol and manipulate the elements. The day of trial has finally arrived, a chance for Casper to prove his worth. Only after winning the Empress's blessing can he begin his life of adventure. When his chance is interrupted by a vicious attack, he finds his home in ruins and his family in mortal peril. Conscripted into the legions and bound to a symbol he never wanted, Casper must survive the Iron City, his enemies in the frozen north, and clandestine traders within the rusting empire itself. More than anything, he wants revenge on those who took everything from him. This is the first step of the rise of the Ironbound.
That sounds cool. I'd read that. I'll add it to the list, so I'll read it after 10 other books.
What better be at the top of your list, Butter?
Matt Denneman's what are they called?
Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Dungeon Crawler Carl. Yes, I will get to that after.
You got to read Strength of the Few first.
Yeah.
Then you got to read the Lost Cube.
Yep.
Lost Cube. It's so good.
Yeah. Then, I'm excited.
And then definitely, you got to read the
Dungeon Crawler Carls.
Dungeon Crawler Carls. Yeah, those are excellent books too. Excellent books.
I got some reading to do. Let's offline. Let's race to see who finishes this book first. If I finish it first, I'm gonna spoil it.
Nice.
Oh.
Nice. Nice.
It's just gonna be Dumbledore died.
Yeah. I'm just gonna I'm gonna stay up until like 5 a.m. and just read the whole thing right now.
Yeah. Well, you could.
I could. Yeah.
All right, guys. Love you. Okay. Good podcast.